Hello, I am Bentham and welcome back to Factorio Railworld, and the first thing I notice is that advanced circuits seem to be extremely low, and I'm wondering why that is. So I go and check the production line. It's not all active, and it seems to be something to do with plastic. As you can see, the plastic is not getting all the way to the end, though it is progressing, but I suspect that is because it breaks and just stops and then starts again, and yes it does. So we need to go find out what the problem is with that. So you can see over at the unloading area that only one inserter is currently unloading anything, and that is a problem. So I just wait for the train to come along from the oil base so that I can hop on board, and then I can go over there and check what's going on with that. So we hop on, and I'll just mess about with all the stuff in the cargo wagon, because there's still all the bits and bobs in the bit that's not supposed to have anything in that I need to move into better places. But we get over to the oil outpost and we can find out what's going on. It seems like plastic production is a bit low, and when I check the oil fractions, I find that petroleum gas is a bit low, which is weird considering that recently only one of the refineries was on, and I've just switched the other two back on by improving the oil supply again. So it's interesting that now it's not enough, even though before it was basically nothing. So we start making we make a new refinery, and we can start connecting that up, putting the pipes in place. And conveniently I've sort of set everything up to be ready for this one, because the only reason this wasn't here before was because I had a railway going through here for the old oil train, so there was a gap, and I made sure that the gap could one day be filled with a new refinery. So now we do that, and we've got a nice neat row of 4 there, and hopefully that will be enough to increase the petroleum gas and allow plastic production to go up again. I guess there was just a build-up of plastic which has been slowly running down since oil started first slowing, and now like oil, like demand for plastic has probably gone up as well, and it's all sort of happened at once and meant that we actually need to increase quite a bit the production of oil fractions. But anyway, now that we have some more petroleum gas being produced, we also of course have more light oil being produced, and we can crack some of that into petroleum gas to keep a nice balance and also improve things there. So checking the chemical plant for it seems to be running at a decent speed. The other one's going at full pelt, and this one's going at about half speed. But I decided to leave it and just see how it goes for now. So I hop back on board the train, and it fills up with a bit more plastic than before, but not that much actually. But anyway, I hop out and leave that to sort of balance out, and so that I can check if it's going all right. You can see there's still a gap, but that might be because we didn't have the system fully in place for this particular load, and then the next load coming along is better. So maybe it'll be enough to get it going again. So I just have a watch of it, and I decided to put some blue belts in because that feels like a good idea. I'm not sure what it will help with exactly, but it just seems like a good idea, so I did it. So now all of the plastic builds up on the end, and I guess that's a good thing or something, I don't know. It might help with sort of evening out the supply rather than having it all happen when the delivery arrives and then stop the rest of the time. So I go back over here and check this inserter as it unloads the plastic, and you can see that the train arrives just after that inserter runs out of plastic to unload. And the train had more plastic on it this time round, which is good, so that things were improving there. But I think we need to do some more because it's still not enough. So we go back over, and I decide to add in a 5th refinery after checking on the chemical plant. It's still no good. The problem being that whenever the train arrives, sulfur starts running down, so then that chemical plant starts up and uses up all of the petroleum gas that the second plastic chemical plant should be using. So we build this next refinery, and we can put this in place. So we're nearly doubling now the oil production since the start of the episode, and if you count the start of last episode before this was all fixed, I think it was the last episode that I fixed this, then that's a huge increase in how much is being produced. So surely this is going to be enough to do it, and I don't think I've ever had 5 refineries going in a game before. So it definitely shows that things are working at a bigger scale than before. That might be something to do with all the level 3 module production that we're currently doing, which is sapping all of the circuits and advanced circuits and processing units and such. So anyway, now that we've got that system in place, we can set up yet another chemical plant for cracking light oil into petroleum gas. So we now have 5 of them, because it's one per refinery. I'm not sure about the exact maths of it. how much is produced, and I don't know, I just sort of wing it and eyeball it and so on. At the moment I don't have any cracking of heavy oil into light oil, but I imagine I'll switch the chemical plant for that on at some point. It's just that even with a lot of refineries, heavy oil is produced quite slowly, and you do need it for lubricants. So if I did need a huge amount of, say, express belts all of a sudden, I want to make sure that there's a good stock of lubricant ready to produce that. I mean, I could probably just start cracking it now, but I will wait. So anyway, back over on this end, I decided to fix this slightly shoddy workmanship that I put in a while back for the unloading of plastic, because I've got it being like unloaded by 2 inserters from one chest, and that's just silly. And I might as well improve it because we've got the room, so I make it so that we now have 3 chests each being unloaded at the same speed, and that will hopefully help with balancing things out, because as you can see, this plastic chest is still going, and it's still got like a 90 plastic in it, I think, so obviously I need to even this out a bit more. But anyway, with the 3 inserters going now onto the same side of the belt, we need to put some blue belts in place to keep things going at a good speed. And then I just watch the unloading of the plastic to make sure that it's staying all right. And as you will see in a moment, I just sort of even out what's in what there. You can see that the chests start running out when the train arrives, but they don't. But the middle one didn't run out. So that's a good sign. It suggests that we are now once again building up a supply of plastic. And if we go over to the advanced circuit production, you can see that things are going great now. This thing's backing up at insane speed. So I guess we fixed the problem, and once again advanced circuits production will be going at full pelt. Though it looks like that's still not enough to actually keep the processing unit production supplied while we're making all of these level 3 modules. I think I might let the system run down on the alien artifacts for a while, so that we can actually build up a good supply of the materials again before I start asking them to make stuff again, because we do need to get 50, I think, speed and productivity modules level 3 in order to actually make the rocket defense when the time comes, but that's not too imminent. So anyway, while I was working on that, I found there was a bit of a power problem. It was only small, but I thought I would go and just fix it and be a bit preemptive with it before any sort of major problems come along. So I'm going to add in another 5 squares of solar panels, and then I'm going to add in another square of accumulators, and that should keep the power system going for a good long while. So there we go with those, nice and quick to set those up, just run in various lines. And then over here we can put in the final part of this 3x3 grid, which of course will at some point be ruined, I expect, by me needing to add in yet more accumulators, but for now it'll look nice and pretty and square. So anyway, back to base, and we can work on more things. So we go back into the main base, check up on how circuits are going. That looks good, but it looks like the actual supply of circuits is still not good enough. It does look like advanced circuits is building up just a little bit, but electronic circuits is now running down, I guess, because once we had more advanced circuits coming in, we were able to use more electronic circuits. So we need to, if possible, do something about that. I don't know if it's that urgent really, because at the end of the day, module production doesn't need to be going particularly fast. It just needs to be going, and we'll get where we need to go with it eventually. But anyway, I decided to just leave all that stuff for now, and I'm going to go build some radars, because it's a long time since we did that, really. Actually, I don't know how many episodes it's been, but we need more of them anyway. We've only got a 3x3 grid and then one extra one scanning the lake, and it's failed in its mission to find the other side of the lake. I think that thing just goes on forever at this point. At some point I will circumnavigate it, maybe as a special episode, I don't know. But anyway, there's some biters here that need dealing with, so we can take those out with the help of some destroyer drones. And we want to keep the area around where we're putting our radars clear. There's a big base here that needs dealing with, well, fairly big. I know there's some really massive ones sort of on the edges of what we've currently scanned that will be interesting to deal with, at least like that one that was fairly near to the new iron outpost, which has a ridiculous amount of worms in it, and that's actually going to be a real challenge to deal with when the time comes. But anyway, here's the first radar, keeping with the grid pattern, being all efficient and stuff with our spacing. So this is going to be the top right, yeah, the top right. And then we wander off over here to deal with a couple more biter bases around. We go up a little bit just to sort of clear that for future purposes, I guess. And then we start going back down again. There's a base here that needs dealing with, quite a few worms, and I just sort of run straight at them and shotgun them at point blank range and take a bit of a hit, but it's alright at the moment. And then we can put in the top middle one, right about there. And we're going to use this orientation now, where we have the solar panel above and below, and then the column next to it, because it means that if possible I can easily upgrade it to an armoured outpost if I find that it's being attacked by biters. Though at this point, if an outpost gets attacked by biters, I'll probably just go and kill the biters. But anyway, this is the top left one, and with this we are done. But there's a few bases that I want to clear out. There's a cluster of little bases around this area that will be a nuisance if I don't deal with them now, so I just start running around with a couple of destroyer drones, taking them out pretty easily. These look like they spawned a while back because they're just the standard biters, no spitter spawning and no worms or anything like that. And then there's one final larger base over here that I decided to deal with, and this has a bit more in terms of defenses, but we deal with it easily enough. And with that done, we will make our way back down over to the base. So we now have a 3x4 grid of radars, and we'll be able to scan a lot more stuff to the north of the base, so that we can have another lookout for deposits of stuff. And that's probably a fairly good idea right now, considering we have a train that goes up to the north anyway, so it wouldn't be too far to stretch a new train line. But anyway, when I get back to base, I grab some more solar panels and make some more radars, because we're going to go down to the south as well and do the same, because as I say, we need a lot more radars. So we've been sort of neglecting that side of things, because it does take a bit of an episode, and I always remember to do it when I don't have enough time left in the episode to do it. But anyway, while we were on our way to go and put in one of the radars, we find that Mini Copper 1 has finally run out, this temporary rail structure that I can now just clear away and make use of somewhere else. So we do now have a train in our inventory, which is always interesting, and we'll need to clear all this stuff away later, because we've got a ton of it in our inventory now. But here I am, just erasing all signs that this ever existed from any sort of memory or whatever, and there we go. So now you never know it was there, and that's fine, because it's not there anymore. So we need to put in a radar down here, and it looks like there's just enough room to squeeze it in on the edge of this little jutting out bit of land here. I mean, it's not jutting out very much, but yeah, we had to put it right on the edge to make sure that it was actually in the right square to scan the right bit, and then we can go over here to put in the bottom middle one, and there's a bit more room over here to breathe as the sort of the lake falls away from us, in a way. I don't know what the term, I suppose that is the term, falls away. And then we go over to put in the bottom left one, which is quite near to the copper outpost. Though at the moment the copper outpost is still out of our out of proper radar coverage. It's got the basic scan, but it's not got the 24/7 coverage. Actually, barely anything else 24/7 coverage, because everything shuts off at night. But you know what I mean. So going back to base, there's a couple of okay, there's one mining drill to clear away there. Back to base, and we get resupplied by a couple of things. And I grab yet more solar panels and make yet more radars, because we're going to go and put even more out. But I think before we do that, we might go and check up on the oil situation, because now that we've got wait, have I put those? I can't even remember what other things I've put in the new refineries, haven't I? I've done that, so yeah. We might need some more oil to supply those, but then I get distracted because I find that copper is no longer enough to keep everything supplied, even though all of the furnaces are going at full speed. So it looks like we're going to have to put some more in there. So we start working our way through these trees, clearing them away. And we're going to put another 8 furnaces in. I don't know what count this puts us at now, because I'm not paying enough attention to that. But I think we do have either more or equal copper production to iron production now. I feel like it's more, but then I think we added in some more iron production fairly recently that may have put it in the lead. But anyway, we get all that set up as normal. Everything's fine there, and that will hopefully be enough to fix that. And then we can go off and get on with something else, just checking up on sort of the flow of the copper, because we haven't looked at the trains really today. We've just been letting them do their thing. We've got a bunch of train equipment in our inventory, which I dump into the supplies box there for when we need to build another outpost. And I think we might need to do another outpost for copper soon, seeing as Mini Copper 1 just ran out. Mini Copper 2 is small anyway. The copper outpost by the smeltery is shrinking rapidly, and while we do have a decent sized deposit with the copper outpost 1, we do want to be relying on more than one outpost in case one goes down for whatever reason. But anyway, we've just done a bit of work over in the main base, and now we're going to go and put in yet more radars. This is going to be the last bout of radar building for today. and we're going to put in another 5 of them, so we're going to have a nice 4x5 grid to greatly expand what our radars can see. So we go to the north and we put in the first one, and I think this might cover the rail line that we have going to the iron outpost. I'm not really sure about the... I've seen... Oh no, it doesn't quite do it, but at some point in future we'll add in another 5 further to the west of here. We'll have a 5x5 grid, and we'll have a lot more of the rail stuff covered. But this is easy enough because there's not that many trees in the way right now, so we can just run along to the next bit, put the next thing in, carry on. And I think we're putting the 4th in a second. Yeah, this one's the 4th. I position myself in the center of the square, put that down, and then before I put the 5th one in, there's a couple of biter bases that need dealing with, so I deploy some destroyer drones and go out to sort these out. And it's easy enough. Once again, it looks like some little ones that have been around for ages. They've probably spawned back when, like, shortly after I started this save, like back in 0.10 before spitters were a thing. So there's none to deal with, and there's also no worms because they come along a bit later. So it's not too much of a problem to deal with them. And then there's a little base over here as well, and I don't know if I leave it here or not. Oh no, I decided to go for the big base down here. There's a bit of a chain of bases here. There's a big one here, and then there's one here, and then at least this one over here. And then just when I think I'm done, there's a couple more bases stretching over to this direction. So I just sort of deal with them all in one go, but it's not too much of a problem because once again it's entirely biter spawners with no spitters and worms, so we can just easily mow them down and carry on with what we're doing. It looks like I got a bit overzealous with that because I'm now miles away from where I actually need to put the radar. So we get back to where we need to go, and then we can just plonk that down. And we have a lovely, nice, infinitely bigger grid of radars than we did before. We've got more than double the number of radars, with no impact on the power system, of course, because they're all solar powered and awesome and independent and excellent. So I tried to take the train back from Copper Outpost 1, but it seems the train's absolutely miles away, so I start walking along the track, and I nearly get hit by the train because I forget what side of the tracks my trains run on. That actually gave me quite the heart attack, and scared me a good bit, but I recover and go back to base to get to clear away some mining drills. I decide to check up on the iron outpost over here and clear away a couple of these. And I decided that seeing as I keep coming along here and trimming off the mine drills that have run out, I should probably add in some more, seeing as I never do that. And I decided to, instead of having them horizontally like I usually do, I'm going to put these ones vertically just because it's a bit easier to deal with and more manageable than putting in like 30 mining drills in one go. And also everything's sort of straight lines now because of the rows that we put in. So I'll start putting these in. Managed to get the positioning wrong because it's a bit dark, so I have to move these along a bit. And it looks like at the moment we don't really need some extra mining drills here, but I've been clearing them away so often recently that I feel like I need to make sure. Like I imagine that at the moment the iron supply is in a particularly good state, and that it could go wrong later on, and then we will need this base to be ready and waiting for that time or something. I don't know. But it's just a good idea to have some extra mining drills ready for if some old ones shut down, because the ore is thinning out back in the older rows of that. But anyway, back to base to check on other things, and we've got a ton of coal in our inventory from that train that we got rid of from Mini Copper 1. So I just stick that in a chest so it can be unloaded into all of the other trains. Go check up on copper, and it's running fine now. There's some mining drills, there's some furnaces that have shut off, which means that everything's good with that. And now I'm over here in this copper deposit here, and I'm clearing all this gubbins away because I want to set this up again, because now there's only a little bit left, and I just want it to be mined away nice and quick so that we can just get rid of this, and I don't know, just get rid of it really, because you know it's nicer to have less deposits to deal with, I guess, and this one's just sort of there slowly finishing off what it's doing, so I just decided to help it along by compressing all of the mining drills a lot more, so that it can, I don't know, I'm just trying to say the same thing over and over again here. I'm trying to get it all mined away, alright, and that's the thing I'm doing. So we put in a couple of substations, put efficiency modules and everything, so now that's producing copper a lot quicker than before, and we'll much sooner run out of it. So anyway, I've decided to go and grab some pump jacks because I've remembered the thing I was going to do before. I wanted to add some more in over on this oil deposit here, because I want to make sure that the new refineries are powered, because of course we have a good 5 of them now, and we need a bit more oil going in to keep them supplied. So it's an easy enough job. Connect it to the power, put in the efficiency modules, and then it's time to end after switching back my armor. So once I get back to the middle, I shall say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.